Okay, we're finally live. Took an extra minute to connect. I don't know what's going on there, but hello. Okay. Whoa. Where's my own preview? Okay. Hello. Whoa. Where's my own preview? Okay. Oh, guys, we have a problem here. I'm hearing two of my own stream, and I think it's because I have it open somewhere else. One. Oh, yes, I do. Okay. There we go. Okay. How's that for a start? Well, it's a good thing I'm testing this out before tomorrow, which is actually the purpose of this entire stream. That and to kind of catch up with you guys and take a look at the chat logs here. Are you done booping my elbow, Bob? Holy crap. So how's it been, guys? It's good to be back. Looks like there's a lot of chatter and a talk here already. But what we're going to be going over today is actually the release notes. I skimmed over them earlier. I can say I'm actually impressed if everything works correctly. I think we'll have a very playable version of 7 Days to Die again. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. Okay. All right. Here we go. So let's get ready. Let's jump right into the notes here, guys. We're going to kind of go over it a little bit and then maybe talk about it if you guys wish. Anyway, this weekend starting tomorrow, I think it's 12 Central Time. So that's 3 Eastern Standard Time. So I'm thinking I'm going to be on around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm gonna set the stream up for then. And if it's delayed, I'll delay it. You know how it goes. You know how the Fun Pimps is. And then after the weekend, we'll actually have everyone on Monday be able to access the same build. And that's what this says right here. So there's 130 streamers you can choose from. Their links are all here. You can find this on 7daystodie.com. So let's get right into it with the XP earning and balance. Now they're saying here about the feedback from Alpha 17, which was pretty much your game is crap now, on how XP was mostly earned by zombie kills, making other playstyles other than killers invalid, which is my big gripe. Is yay, killing the same 10 zombies over and over again is so incredibly fun. I like to build. That's the one thing 7 Days to Die to me has to offer is the building. If I wanted to play just combat, I would play Arc because it's sadly better. So I'm kind of glad they're getting away from like the weakest point of the game and going back to the strongest point. That's kind of cool here. So what they're saying is they streamline balanced ways the players can earn XP to support multiple playstyles. You guys kind of get the point. So this includes XP for killing zombies, completing quest. They're bringing back harvesting resources, mining, upgrading blocks. So they're pretty much going right back to the old system where you could just do whatever you want and play the game you want, right? Hey buddy, you gotta stop spamming the chat, or you're gonna get banned. Okay, so now they go on to say a little bit more, which is kind of pointless. But they did say that the testing team painstakingly played build after build, purposely playing as those types and collecting XP. So they're actually saying that they play tested it this time. We do see Joel doing that on YouTube. Okay. Bam. Gone. We do see Joel playing it on YouTube. He's on like what, day 42 or something like that. So he's definitely put some time into it, and that's something I think they desperately needed to always do, is like play test their own stuff, right? So getting back to the stamina, I would be digging. Yes, so now you can actually earn some XP again, Alistair, from digging. The Fun Pips, they also heard a lot of feedback on how the stamina was crap, because they turned the game into a chore. That's what I found with Alpha 17, is just it became a chore and it wasn't fun anymore, right? And that's basically what they said. The harvesting, mining, running, it was a grind and a chore, and it really was. As an adult, that works. I don't have 100 hours a week to dick around with that, so it's going to be nice being able to actually just jump in and play the game again. So what they've done is reduce stone axe stamina costs, so the new player can actually get started harvesting instead of like banging on a tree for 10 minutes just to get it down, which is awesome. Many other primary attack stamina costs have been reduced. Power attacks will still have a heavy cost, but a reward. It's a heavy hit. Armor perks and mods will now reduce stamina and movement penalties as well. So I think they're still trying to go with a little bit of the stuff from before, but really loosened up on it, which is great, because the way I look at it, vanilla doesn't need to be hard. That's what mods are for. That's what options are for, right? If you want to hit a zombie 30 times just to be like it's a hard way to play the game, then go for it. I think they're finally starting to listen a little. Yeah, a little. I see some of them actually taking some suggestions, but I still see a lot of assumptions on the Fun Pimp side. So, because like Alpha 17, in my opinion, was a huge assumption that every single player would just absolutely love. If I'm going to grind, I'm going to play a game like WoW. That's fun to grind, right? So, anyways, this is a big deal to me. Right here, optimizations. This is one thing they've always lacked on, saying, oh, well, it's alpha, why would we optimize? And then they just kind of keep like patching it, and then it becomes unfixable. So they're finally actually taking a look at what they can do to make the game run better. This one's big here. Occlusion system. We engineered a new occlusion system. So basically what that system does is anything you're not directly looking at, it doesn't load. Because really, there's no point in loading it unless you're looking at it or interacting with it. So like if you're inside a building, it's not going to load that whole building all at once for no reason, right? It'll only load what you can see. So that will actually save big time on some systems. Make sure you do turn this on if it works properly. It says it does add some minor popping artifacts. Where occluded objects may take a moment to appear. So there might be some weirdness with it at first, which is whatever. So if this is working and in right, that's actually a huge boon to gameplay. Garbage collection. So as a game runs, as a program runs, it kind of ends up like gaining a whole bunch of information it doesn't need anymore. And sometimes if it's not programmed right, it doesn't dump that information. Kind of like a scrap piece of paper you write a bunch of stuff on. When you use it up, you throw it away. That's pretty much the same thing, right? So they updated to the newest garbage collection, which is good. This here, the collision mesh optimizations. We went through a lot of the models that had complex collision meshes and simplified them, which reduces physics calculations and improves performance. So that's something that just improves performance. It's a small thing, but it's still a step in the right direction. POI detail reduction. This one's huge. When they added in like distant POIs, it was crazy heavy on the CPU. So what they did is they made them look good, but they reduced how much has to load. So that is awesome. Entity ticking. Players, animals, zombies now update over multiple frames, which reduces the CPU load during any single frame, which reduces frame rate spikes. So pretty much, if it doesn't need to be updated, they don't update it, which saves a lot of overhead. And the AI has a new character controller that uses a bit less CPU. So optimizations, good thing. If they had this whole page of just optimizations, I would even be happy with that. Because a big thing to me now, more than 4 or 5 years ago, my tolerance is lowered for buggy games. We've all been through the rigmarole of waiting 4 or 5 years for a game just to be released in 1.0. That's just a buggy mess. So hopefully that doesn't happen here. Okay, so they go on to say, with our changes, the game runs a lot better for most users. However, we do recommend learning how to use the game's video options to lower detail, resolutions, reflections, and other options to get the best performance for your hardware. So they're pretty much covering their ass here, guys. If you have a 6-year-old mid-range computer, you're not playing in 4K, okay? No matter what you do. Even if you can play some other game at 4K, you're not playing this one in 4K. It's just not going to happen. Keep in mind, 7 Days is a fully dynamic game where you can add to, change, or destroy anything in a huge open world, which is the majority of your performance. So they do have a point there. It cannot be compared to games using similar static level worlds with pre-baked lighting and visibility. Arc. This means that you just, because your hardware can run. Ah, there you go. They actually go on to say that. I never read this part. That's funny. Can run the latest Call of Duty 4K. Doesn't mean you can run 7 Days to Die at 4K with the same hardware. That's simply why. You can't go into Call of Duty and like tear down buildings and build stuff and go anywhere, dig into the, you know what I mean? So we all know that. I think most of us know that here, right? Ashley, General, Shadow, Will. What's up, guys? Surfic, do you think that could increase loading lag depending on your rig, I suppose? Not at all, actually. It should decrease it because that's where the majority of like the lag is from, is just simply loading everything at once. So it would be like driving forward and just loading what you're going towards instead of keeping everything that you've gone past loaded too. So it saves you overall. Oh, did you just get... Oh. What are you doing back there, buddy? He's just staring into the camera. I was like, hi, Bob. You can see Bob? You, oops. You shadow bombing? He's right there sitting on his bed. That's funny. Photo bombing. I mean, there we go. Photo bombing. Any idea when it's coming out? The streamer weekend starts tomorrow, and if everything goes right, it'll be Monday for everyone else. Hey ID, what's up, dude? Okay, so let's go on here to new haircut. Yeah, I do that every once in a while. Zombie balance. We heard many comments about zombie amounts and POIs. That was one of my biggest gripes. It's like everyone just died hiding in a closet in 7 Days to Die. All right. I hated the amount of spawns and POIs. I actually modded that like almost out, to be honest. I don't mind like every once in a while you run into a room and oh crap, there's a bunch of zombies in here, right? But like once you clear a place once and you come across it several times, you know where their hiding places are. So it's not as, you know, if they made it more random, you wouldn't learn all the hiding places so fast, and it would go into more late game too, right? So what they did with about this issue, because it was an issue. Oh, this is the other issue too, that they heard about the lack of smaller POIs that were simple to explore with fewer or no zombies. This is a big one too, especially earlier game, because you have nothing to break into a POI with. To resolve this, we grouped POIs into questing tiers and set their spawns to reasonable max counts numbers for those tiers and balanced enemy counts and every POI questable or not. So hopefully you won't enter a shed and have to kill 15 zombies. They also lowered biome spawning so players can have a little bit more breathing room around the world. On top of this, we created 30 new smaller POIs, like we just talked about, called remnants, such as the abandoned house and a variety of themes. They're smaller, less populated, have a chance for a couple zombies, giving players less threatening explorable spaces, especially when they're starting a new game, or limited to how much daylight is left. So they do say in future plans we had to add more, because that's the one thing too, is their buildings are awesome, but they spent way too much time on a handful of awesome ones, and there just wasn't enough variety, in my opinion. I would take like 30 rundown homes that have nothing, like, you know, that's not crazy a dungeon, over like 5 dungeons at this point. So that's cool that they're doing that. Now I did read a post where it said that they have the breadcrumb system. So like with the lack of the world spawning, they'll slowly wander over to your area and then get attracted to you or something like that. So it doesn't say it here. I'll have to read that again. And here's another big one here too. Attribute balance. Am I going to play? Yes, of course I will. We have heard many comments in Alpha 17 how we force players to choose strength and intellect attributes as they had many must-have perks under them. Oh, that's worded a little funny. So basically, they forced you to play one way, which really sucked. That was a big turn off for me too. Yeah, well, the problem, lady, they said that they would you would be able to play your save, is that they literally rip out and put in new things every single alpha. So I think that's what a lot of people want. They just want to play forever on a map and just not have to have that interrupted, which I completely understand. That's why they need to hurry up and get it finished so we can do that. So here we go. First and foremost, each attribute has been balanced and given melee and ranged weapons. They govern, so every build has a unique feeling to it with specialized weapons they use. Who wrote this? Secondly, we removed level requirements so that a player can specialize very early game and unlock any perk. So basically, they took out all those bullcrap perk block stuff where you had to be certain level. Like I honestly hated that. I just wanted to pick up the game and play, right? Like they almost made it so it was like RPG like, and it's not an RPG game. We have a slowed leveling because a level 40 character is now very powerful if you specialize mostly under one attribute. We'll see how that goes. This doesn't mean you can grab a few perks from every attribute. And we encourage people to experiment and make the right build. Blah, 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 blah. So have fun with the different builds. Give her down is what they're saying. Now, they did say, too, I do believe that there is no level cap, which is kind of cool. To be like, I'm a level 1052. I don't know why well, I know why you'd want to do that. Just to be like, I'm level 1052. But still, that's pretty damn cool. I'd rather have new things. Nathaniel, see, that's part of the attitude that's wrong, because you don't strip stuff out and put it in for new things. You build a base, and then you build on that base, and then you add things to that. That's how most developments go. Like if you look at Minecraft, there's a lot of people that still have original maps they're still playing on with all the updates. So it's not it's either they should do it that way or just finish the damn game. And all that new stuff really isn't new, because you'll see as we're getting into it, it's just common stuff that, in my opinion, should have been in the game years ago, that they finally added in. Okay, let's move on past the attribute stuff. Here we go. Gameplay changes. These are the big things here. Item changes. All crafting items now governed by the perk tree it's affected by. So it kind of went back to the old way again, where like if you want to specialize in shotguns, you specialize in the shotgun perk, right? It's not through like intelligence or anything like that. We're not going to get too much into like how wordy this is. If you guys do want to check this out and like kind of break it down for yourselves, that is cool, but this is like a huge run-in paragraph, and looking at it makes me go cross-eyed. I read it twice today, and it's pretty much we're going back to the old way, but with mods. I'm pretty sure that's what I got from that. If anyone else sees anything different from this little blurb here, let me know. So they've added classic item schematics back to the game that permanently teach a player how to craft specific items. Yes. Fun stuff to find when you're out looting. That's the one boring thing about looting, is getting the same stuff over and over again. Schematics and books were fun to find. There's hundreds of schematics to find, so if you don't want to spend the perks on intellect, you can find them to unlock nearly everything in the game. So you don't even have to use your talent tree. You can just unlock it through schematic. Yay, old ways. Yeah, like this, it almost feels like they're like, okay, yeah, we messed up. Let's go back to like Alpha 15, but with the good stuff that we brought in. So as we read more of this, it gets more and more exciting, of course. Cracker books will be useful again. Yeah, they were useless in the last couple of alphas. That's very true. Armor changes. These are very nice too. Armor rating does not change based on perks. Armors offer great protection early game, even cloth, and scrap is worth using. See, that's a big thing too. Like, this was really never worth using. Like, I very rarely make cloth armor, but this is why it'll be useful. It does not slow the player cost, of course, with cloth. Armor significantly reduces chance for bleeding and stun, which makes sense. Okay, if you have armor on and you come across something sharp, it doesn't cut your arm because you're wearing armor. So that's a nice little addition, especially stun too. Like, if you put a helmet on, you shouldn't be stunned so easily. The stun was frustrating, I found, in Alpha 17. Heavy armor is the best, but of course it has heaviest penalties. Perks and mods can remove nearly all penalties from light armor and most from heavy armor. So now when you like make stuff, basically it just gets random perks from what I understand of it. And then like, you can have a lower quality item with better perks on them. So like, it can't take up as much damage, but it gives you better stats. Oh, the deal. So that's nice. We've removed a whole row of encumbrance. Early game is more forgiving. That I kind of have mixed feelings on. I really didn't care either way. I don't carry a lot of junk on me as a player, so I never really had problems with the inventory, but some people like to keep everything. So they go on, is possible to have 0 encumbrance with no pack mule perks now. You just have to get the reg gear. So it's gonna be kind of fun checking out like all the new gears and stuff. So death loop improvements. God, this is actually genius. I like what they did with this. Okay, because death does need a consequence. Okay, you shouldn't die to get to the bottom of the building faster. So here we go. Many players complained about getting in death loops or cheap deaths in the game at times when they were not taking risks. Yeah, it did. Like, you got into like really bad loops where you just couldn't get rid of your death buff. So now the death debuff has been changed from lowering attributes, health, and stamina. So that's gone, to losing XP, resulting in less cheap back-to-back deaths. So basically, if you keep dying, you won't lose a level. You'll just go back into a debt, and then you'll have to pay that debt off to move up another level. And that I actually like. That's a pretty fair trade, I do think, because like the zombie or the stamina and health kind of sucked. It was annoying. It was more annoying than anything else. This is kind of cool here too. After a player dies during a blood moon, zombies will no longer know where you are, and normal stealth rules apply. So basically, if you die on Horde Night, you're not completely screwed, right? You can go into stealth, get back to your stuff, and then get back to Horde Night. Or you could just hide the Horde Night out because, well, you died. But it does say if you go to re-engage an enemy, blood moon behaviors recommends? Wow, words. So if you let one see you, I do believe, or you attack one, they all of a sudden know where you are again. So keep that in mind. We lowered the default difficulty from Nomad to Adventurer since Alpha 18 is a little harder with the new zombie rage speed boosting behavior. That's going to be a little interesting to see. That's going to be weird. You damage a zombie and it gets faster? Okay, well, we'll give it a chance. We'll see what that's like. I mean, I tried to watch Joel play, but I just wasn't into it. I'll play it myself. We changed AI noise detection to play sense sounds. And so do zombies make a sound now when they sense you? That's kind of cool. And they lowered hostile animals' noise and sight detection ranges. So you won't be charged by an angry warthog from 300 feet away. That'll be nice. Now, some animals have a chance to flee when damaged in combat. Bleeding does less damage per second, which is nice because like it was like you had gaping wounds every time you poked yourself. And armor reduces the chance to bleed dramatically. That's kind of a repeat of earlier, but once again, I like that. Melee hit detection and glancing blows. A big thing that's needed to be in the game for a very long time. Because like you'd like hit their shoulder and it wouldn't count because it was in their head area. It was really weird. a feedback about how you would swing and miss zombies too often. There you go. That's exactly what I was talking about. Melee was too binary, hit or miss. To remedy this, as well as to make melee feel more impactful, we added a swing arc to detect hits along the path of the weapon. So if you miss it with crosshairs, you'll still hit them along the arc of the weapon swing, just for less damage. So basically, glancing blows. You know what I mean? Like if it, like, you know, when you scrape someone, it still hurts them, but it's not gonna hurt as if you hit them. Melee impact audio polish, so they made the sounds nicer. Animation polish doesn't really go into too much, but they said they made it better. This is cool here, the dynamic music system. This is one thing I actually cannot wait to check out myself. Zombie footsteps are fixed now. Ooh. I play on PC, but I like console better. I wish I'd update console a little. There's not much you can do when it's all up in legal matters. Okay, the Fun Pimp has teamed up with Native Darkness Productions. I'm not sure who that is, but to bring a fully dynamic music system to Alpha 18. The system procedurally generates a complete musical arrangement from a set of interchangeable loops. As of now, there are 750 unique combinations. Now, those are loops. You gotta remember, like, loops are like 10 seconds long or something like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how that makes music. We'll find out. Our hope is that this feature will make Alpha 18 that much more immersive. That's the one thing I always found about 7 Days to Die. It was too quiet. Like, they needed a lot more ambient or background noise or something, or music. So they added music, and I'm happy with that. We have set a default cap on the music, which will allow it to play for 30% up to 30% of a given day. But you're in control of how much music you hear through the daily time allotted properly in the audio options menu. Honestly, I'm probably going to go Fun Pimps on it and overdo it for the first little while and push it to 100. But they go on to note that setting it to 100% will not give you constant music, as that percentage is a daily cap and not a guarantee. So, who knows? Music. At the moment, our system is designed to provide music while the player is exploring the world. We do, however, intend to broaden the system in next alpha with not only more content, but to include suspense, combat, and trader music. Okay, so the music just generally plays right now. It's not tied to, like, fighting. It's not tied to anything other than just randomly playing. But still, it's a step in the right direction, right? Yeah, what I read is that you get a negative amount of XP when you lose your XP. But you don't lose a level, you just have to pay it back, right? So now if credit worked that way, that would be freaking awesome. Okay, so here we go. Let's go on to the next step here. New infection, dysentery, and stun changes. I like these. These were things that were a little bit of an annoyance too before, but a necessary part of the game. I just hope they didn't overdo them, so we'll find out. New infection system. Infection is easier to contract when you have low health than high health, so there is a reason to keep your health up and your hunger and everything up, which is nice. 1% is barely infected, and at 100% you die. Stage 1, it's basically stages. It gets worse every stage it goes. So to get rid of it, take antibiotics such as before, honey, herbal, pharmacy grade. Antibiotics lessen stamina recovery penalty by half while curing. So I hope that's not too long. Make sure to have a larger cure amount than your infection amount, or you'll get sick again when the cure buff runs out. So basically, if you don't feel, what I'm reading from this, if you don't fully cure yourself, it'll get worse again. Makes sense. So dysentery and food poisoning. You don't want to get the craps. They are non-lethal but easier to contract. Okay, so they're going to slow you down a bit. All foods except canned now have a chance to contract food poisoning. I'm not sure how I feel about that decision, because from the looks of the world, stuff has gone bad for quite a while. And I don't know about you, but if you look at the expiry dates on canned goods, they don't last that long. And anything that's in a can that can ferment, I think would have a higher chance of food poisoning than, like, let's say if you killed a deer and cooked it. So I'm kind of hoping they flip that. You know, maybe make it so that like cans, like dirtier food, I guess. Like eating meat raw, or like not raw meat, sorry, raw meat. Yeah, that'll give you food poisoning. But like eating properly cooked meat and stuff, like maybe boiled meat should maybe have a chance. Whatever, we'll see. We'll discuss it tomorrow when we start streaming this stuff. So basically, it's the same thing. Recover by drinking. It causes diarrhea, which will drain your water with dehydration. So you drink your goldenrod tea to recover faster from it. Now, this is kind of interesting. Boiled water still has a chance to contract dysentery. So now you actually have a reason to really drink teas, coffee, other than just to be OP on stamina all the time. Hi. New mineral water to be exempt from the dysentery. So I wonder if there's like a curing process or something. That's kind of cool. We'll have to take a look at the mineral water when we can. The slow perk metabolism has been renamed to Iron Gut, which reduces chance for dysentery and food poisoning with each rank. So early game, food poisoning is going to be an issue. Late game, it's not going to be an issue. That's what I'm getting from that. And then the stun system, once again, we've already gone over this, but wearing armor, if you put a helmet on your head, you don't get stunned as easy. So that makes sense. High definition icons. Woo. Yeah, the canned goods, like, I think that should be completely the other way around. But I won't rant on for that too long because we still have a lot to go over. 1 second. There we go. I hope I muted that properly. So they overhauled the icon atlas to support power of 2 images. I'm not sure what that means. And created HD icons for all the blocks and items. So the icons got a nice go over. They needed it. The new books and schematics. So they added in 16 book sets in the game with 112 unique books. Reading these books unlocks unique perks and skills, and completing a set unlocks a book series perk. So that is pretty damn cool. Now, I'm of course not going to go over all 16 of these, but we'll go over a couple just so you guys get the basic idea. So like the book series, the Fireman's Almanac, did I say that right? Game perks based around firefighting, heat resistance, harvest more coal from burnt embers, and more. All right, well, I'm sure we'll go into more detail once we find the books. The Great Heist, game perks to help you become a master thief, gain new stealth abilities, craft time charges, that's kind of cool, and open safes quickly, and more. Damage land claimed areas. Damage land claimed areas 20% faster, and more. Please do not consume the towels. I have no idea what that means, guys, but you kind of get the point here. Once again, if you want to have a nice read, grab yourself a coffee tomorrow morning. If you're off, you're home. Or even if you're at work, you have a pretty cool job if you can do that. And give her a good read over. Yeah, that's why I can't stream long tonight. I'm exhausted and I gotta be nice and ready for tomorrow here. Bob, what are you doing? Okay, so new weapons. This is by far the biggest weapon update we've ever had, which includes 20 new weapons to play with, which honestly, awesome. But at the same time, I'm not going to be jumping all over you and dry humping you. Because like a lot of this should have been in the game for a very long time. Spears? Like, come on. I've had spears modded in since like Alpha 14. So we got spears. You guys know what a spear is? Junk turret. So basically it's a portable turret. You can hold it. You can put it down on the ground. As long as you're within range of it, it'll work. So I guess it doesn't need power. This feels like a complete ripoff of you know what game. This here actually. This here, the Fun Pimps are really lucky that the Rage Brigade doesn't get a hold of that one. I'm not offended. I mean, whatever. I don't see the point of doing that. But hey, I think let's hope that kind of slides under and doesn't become a thing. Anyway, that one's kind of cool. I do like it. We got Stun Baton, new melee governed by the new intellect perk, the Electrocutioner. Gives intellect players a shock baton that charges with each attack. Each rank of Electrocutioner reduces the number of swings needed to achieve a charge. Gotta swing it to charge it? Yeah, no problem, Redbeard. Have a good one, dude. Thanks for stopping in. What time for the stream tomorrow? Well, they say about 3 for the release time. So I'll probably need like a good hour to get everything running, test everything out, and be up and streaming. So I'm going to aim the stream around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, so moving on. Baseball bat. It's a baseball bat. You're bashing some heads. New sledgehammers. This is nice. I love sledgehammers. If you guys have watched any of my old stuff, I loved rocking a sledgehammer. Loved it. So now what they have is a stone sledgehammer. So basically you attach a big ass stone to a bottom of a stick and swing that around. You guys know exactly what I'm going to be doing early game. Oh, I love smashing heads with sledgehammers. It was so much fun. M60, it's a top tier machine gun class weapon that is loot or schematic craft only. So you can't just make this. You got to find it or find the schematic to craft it. It is governed by the machine gunner perk under fortitude, as well as the AK-47. What are you doing? Knuckle wraps of brass knuckles, spike knuckles. You guys get the point. You put it on your head and you smack them. Like, these are all cool, once again, but it's about time. Like, there's more variety in the gunplay. Like, they tried to make the game about gunplay, and they're like, here's, like, 5 crappy guns. Double-barrel shotgun. Awesome. New explosives. Just blows my mind that they haven't had grenades in the game this whole time. Grenades time charge has been introduced. They're cool. There are normal grenades that bounce and contact grenades which explode on contact. Time charges deal massive damage to safe and doors, and they're great for raids. They are governed by demolitions expert under perception. So this is probably going to be a huge PvP thing. It should be interesting to see how that one works out. New bows. The normal bow people are used to has been turned into a primitive bow, so it'll probably feel worse to experienced players. We've added a new wooden bow, which behaves similar to the old bow, and the compound bow is still top tier bow. So they added in another bow, pretty much. A weak bow, a good bow, and then the top bow. New ammunition. All firearms use regular ammo. HP ammo, which does more damage, and AP ammo, which pierces through the enemies. And low hit point structures like wooden glass. Okay. Shotguns have breaching ammo for wrecking safes and doors. Oh, that's kind of cool, actually. I like that. You just blow your way in. How about that? Revive Cooney. I gotta do something different. Cooney was awesome. But if you really look at it, all Cooney was a big square building that used to be a mountain. You know what I mean? I want to do something more elegant this time, for no other words. Anyways, thrown items. In multiplayer games, thrown items were removed by the server, which means if your computer was not the server, you'd see a delay when you threw an item and see lag in its position updates and collisions in the world. In Alpha 18, we added a physics master system that lets the player's computer through the items spawn and run the item's mechanics or physics. So you get the lag-free throwing as a single-player game, and it'll accurately hit other players. Cool. So they at least took a tiny look at multiplayer. I don't see much of a multiplayer though, so I'm hoping like Alpha 19, they'll finally get around to making multiplayer playable again because it has so many bugs. Like, it's not bad if you keep it a couple people, but running a server is just insane. New train blending, new Unity distant train and PBR peanut butter train textures. Sounds tasty. We have integrated a new terrain shader that blends the terrain textures in a much more natural way. With it, we can do interesting things like base the texture weight on slope angles. So basically, if you got a hill and the slopes like this, like barely, I'm backwards. Camera freaks me out. So if it's a slope like this is going to be grass. If it's a slope like this is going to be stone, right? So like as you get like a slope, it'll turn from stone to grass gradually instead of like being like almost a line, you know what I mean? That's going to be actually really nice to see. So that's going to be really cool. New random world gen once again. Once again, random world gen has been overhauled to use a new custom in-house solution. I actually played around with this back in Alpha 16 or 17. Sorry, if they got it working right, that's awesome. This new system uses a combination of artist-driven graph networks and improved programming. I'm not going to go into it. Basically, it's just a randomization of a bunch of like stamps to make lakes and rivers and stuff. It's actually really neat, but incredibly technical. POI locations. Hey, Jer, what's up, buddy? Oh yeah, the haircut. Yeah, I needed to. I wasn't getting any callbacks, so I have to narrow it down, right? We've reimagined dozens of older locations with a complete art and gameplay overhaul, converting them to beautiful and questable dungeon experience. So basically, they made more POI locations. They also created many brand new locations. I just said that. These locations are all set up to support a variety of quest of 5-tiered difficulties. It'll be nice actually getting into the questing. I didn't do that at all last time. Okay, so they go on to list like all the reimagined locations right here. I'm sure we'll get to see them tomorrow anyways, so let's move on for that. Reflections are shown using reflection probes. We've added a new reflection manager that tracks multiple probes. Up until this point in the game, I always turned reflections off. Reflections were brutal. They look so bad. So hopefully this makes them look much better. AI, animals, and zombies. Here we go. Variety improvements to the AI. This is a big one here too. Hey Wolf, what's up, buddy? I live in PST time and don't get off work tomorrow until 3. What will I be missing? Probably about a couple hours of the stream. I'm sure I'll be streaming for quite a while tomorrow. We're going to do another charity stream here again. I didn't really have a lot of time, like everything's set up, so it'll just be more of a, hey, all the money that, gets donated during the stream will go. So, okay, let's get back to this. A coyote and mountain lion were added. That's going to be fun. Mountain lion uses a new animal leap ability. The demolition zombie was added. Beware of his explosive charge. So I don't know if you guys have seen the zombie yet. And I don't know if you guys knew my Settlers mod from 7 Days to Die back in the day. But that thing is literally Bomba. It's what I had envisioned for Bomba. I couldn't make a skin, but it acts exactly the same way. It has a timer, and it explodes if you don't kill it. And it does a lot of block damage. Apparently it does a lot of block damage. Didn't really feel like it in the videos, but I mean, it's cool. To actually have it added in the game, that's something I wanted. So nice. Did they pay you for it? No. I mean, in all reality, that could have been 100% one of their people's ideas. You know what I mean? But it's just the similarity is insane. I mean, the idea itself is really not that original, but whatever. We'll move on from that. Zombies have a new rage mode. There's a chance when damaging zombie based on the game difficulty that they will move faster for a short amount of time. This adds more variety to combat. See, this one I kind of struggle with too. This almost feels like reaching to make it difficult, because how is damaging a zombie make them move faster? See, what I would just see is like, I don't know, what would cause a zombie to move faster? There's zombies. Whatever. We'll see how that goes. Sense sounds have been returned to the game. They are played when hostile AI investigates a noise. So that's going to be kind of interesting. You'll hear them poking around when they hear you. Hostile AI no longer investigates player noise at the exact position of the player, but rather picks a spot somewhere on the player's breadcrumb trail based on how well the AI can hear. So this is going to be awesome. So if you're hiding in a house at night, they're not going to come up and start smacking the wall behind you. I don't know if you guys watched some of my episodes from last the alpha, the early ones, but that was the case. Like they would hear you and then they'd be like right behind you smacking through the wall. Some types of hostile animals may flee. They've repeated that several times. Zombies will now fight bears and wolves that attack them. Always should have been that way. Zombies ragdoll when they fall. Didn't they do that before? Sleeper volume triggering was improved. Doesn't really go into detail for that. For the vehicles here, they have improved steering, tire rotation, bicycle pedaling, and the gyro rotor can now be seen moving when looking at the player's vehicles. So animation improvements. They fall more accurately, and riders can take falling damage. So do not use your mini bike as a shortcut 20 stories down anymore. It's a bad thing to do. Using the hop action on two-wheel vehicles lifts the front tire more, so it's easier to drive over obstacles. Oh, that's kind of cool. Vehicle UI locking and passcode interaction was improved. We'll see. We'll see about that. Mining overhaul. Here we go, Alistair. This one's for you, buddy. Mining has been overhauled and made much easier to find the ore you need. Now there are brand new 3D surface boulders of each ore, identifying where the matching ore can be found below. So basically, if the ore is on top, it's below too. What you see is what you get. See lead, mine it, and below the boulder will be a new lead textured underground that matches the surface boulder. Oh, and right below the boulder? Each boulder has a unique look, so they're easy to identify at a distance to see what type of ore it is. These boulders are uncommon, so there are still many deposits close to the surface that can only be found by digging. Oh, okay, so it's not just the boulders then. That's kind of cool, though. If you take the boulder out, you can continue digging underneath it, and there's more. All right. Server administration stuff. I'm not going to go into this because unless you run a server, you'll have no idea what any of that means. And for most people, it's not important. Same with modding support. Okay, so now this is when we get into the full changelog here, guys. So, of course, I'm not going to read, like, every single line out to you. I'm going to leave this one to you guys. Like, Coyote to desert spawns. AI runaway when hurt param 1 is chance to flee when hurt with a minimum health needed to trigger. Because that made no difference to anybody. You know what I mean? So I would encourage you to read them up. Actually, I am going to pop. I mean, you can go to 7daysofdie.com and it's under news. If you go and look, 7daysofdie.com, under news and the streamer weekend announcement and the official release notes. So yeah, grab a coffee, read the lines, and see about all the changes. Like, look at all the individual lines of changes. That's insane. So I don't know about you guys. I'm very impressed with the direction they took the game back into this time around. I don't want to jump the gun and say it's awesome yet until I actually play it, which will be tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be doing a charity stream, so if you've been sitting on some money lately, that is a good time to get rid of it. I hope you get rid of your money anytime, especially when it's going towards a good cause. Now tomorrow, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what we're gonna do as a challenge to get. I'm gonna set the goal at $500, and maybe do something like I'll run the server for 3 months, and if it goes well, keep it going, of course. If we get to that point, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I do want you guys to come over to Discord and let me know what you think would be a good challenge. I put the link in the channel there. If my bot's working, it should link it here in a second. And come over, discuss, guys, and I'll see you on stream tomorrow. It's there we go. Okay, linked it in. Awesome. I'll see you guys on stream tomorrow. I'm gonna go get myself some rest. As you can tell, I'm tired as hell. I'm gonna go chill for the night, get some rest, get up tomorrow, work the morning, come back home, and we're going to play ourselves some Alpha 18. So you can buy vehicles and parts from the traders now. That's freaking awesome, dude. That's awesome. How do we get on the server when you get it up? I'm thinking about if I do it this time, it's going to be like a Discord only thing. Like you have to be on Discord because the password's going to change probably daily. So anyways, guys, I'm going to cut it off here. I got to go take care of Bob. He needs to go outside. He's been very patient. And I'll see you over on the Discords to continue our discussions. Peace out and have a good one, guys. Back up them game saves. See you later.